Today on the bench we have a Sony TA 4650 integrated amplifier. These were manufactured according to Hi-Fi Engine between 75 and 77, and they come in at I think 30 watts. 30 watts per channel into 8 ohms. I'm a huge Sony fan, at least in terms of kind of what you get for the money on the secondary market. These things are fantastic. Some of the styling is unique and definitely appeals to probably only certain people, but in terms of bang for the buck, these are great. So what I'll be doing today is kind of a general evaluation. I'll clean it, I'll set it to factory spec, probably put it on the scope and kind of see what's going on there, and then give a quick test listen, make sure all the inputs are working, clean the pots. It's kind of a basic service. So let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is kind of give it a visual inspection on the inside. And the reason I do that is, although this wasn't shipped or anything, this came from a local customer who said everything was working. You just never know what you're getting into, what's been done on it. If anything has been done, what's been done correctly on it. Get this out of the way. I hate rubber bands on these power cords. Alright, so we'll remove top cover, look at the inside, and see what's going on here. So what I'm looking for, signs of work, anything that's burned out, lots of dust on the inside. I will blow this out. I'll save you from that. I'll just get my air compressor out, blow this out, and see what's going on. I don't immediately see, slide this up so I can see it. I don't see any burned resistors. So no evidence of, well, yeah, no evidence of work. It's got some soldered in fuses. Again, nothing jumps out as requiring any further investigation on this. So what I'll go on to now is I will blow this out and kind of do a little cleanup in here while I'm working on it, and we will jump to kind of giving it a test, and then we'll go from there. So now that the dust is gone, I'm gonna look. So it's pretty apparent that the original jumpers have been replaced. At least I don't think those purple ones are original. I would assume that they're aftermarket. So I'm going to connect this to sound, and I'll find some YouTube music, which kind of, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to speaker A, and these are screw terminals. So I have gone through and cleaned the inside. What I want to do now is power this up on the dim bulb tester. All right, so this should flash and then go out and stay out. And then what I also want to do is test the outputs. So I want to see if there's any DC voltage on the outputs over here. So this is on auxiliary, volume's all the way down. Speaker A is on, so that's the top row right here. That's where I'll be measuring for DC. Make sure there's none on there. So first, let's see what happens when we hit power. And nothing. That's a 200 watt bulb though. So all I have are 150s. Yeah, 150 and 200. So it's way too much for this, but it's not glowing brightly. Not doing anything weird. So let's measure for DC. So that's at -7 millivolts, which is almost nothing, and this is at 13 millivolts. So both of those are good. So I feel comfortable connecting this to sound and running a test to see if the pots are scratchy or kind of what the operational status of this is. So we're going to do a function test just to see what this thing sounds like. I just want to see if the pots are scratchy or what the status is. This came to us working, so I'm just kind of verifying that it is in proper working order. I will pull down the service manual and set the DC offset and the bias per the service manual once I kind of know what's going on, like if I have to clean the pots or do any work in here like that. So volume's down. This is off of the dim bulb. So power on. And let me cue up the music. This is from YouTube. It's called Retribution. I just heard the relay click. Okay, so it's although this song get something a little bit clear. Well, that's not very clear. This is all YouTube music. So. Alright, let me do this. Blue Mood. Oh man, that is... I know you can't hear it through the mic, but that is super sweet. Again, I am a Sony fan, so that is nice, and no scratchiness in the pots. All the filter buttons are working. Adapter switch is a little dirty, which isn't a huge deal. I don't know that anyone's going to use it, but it's easy to get to, and I can clean that in like 5 minutes. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Man, if I didn't already have too many items, this one might be staying with me. I love I love kind of quirky, different. I just like different stuff. Right? I like. I mean, I have the kind of the stuff you run across all the time, but you know, I have a Pioneer SX 1050 and a Sansui 99 and some other stuff that I rehabbed over the last few years. I do have a Sony TA V5, which is kind of a quirky receiver, which I really like. I really do like that. So let's get into pulling down the service manual and let's see what's going on with DC offset and bias. So this is kind of weird. I printed up, got some grease on there. Printed up some pages from the service manual, and first adjustment is power supply voltage adjustment. And it looks like we take a measurement from ground to something here. It doesn't say what. I mean, it's on the volume control board. It's still running. It's been running for a while. It says do this after 3 minutes. So I'm assuming it's that test, maybe a test point right there. It's kind of what it looks like to me. And then we're going to adjust RT401, which is right there. Sorry, I've got this backwards. So, yep, right there. So RT401 is right there. And we're supposed to get 20 volts. So let's see first what we're getting. I'm going to go to ground. And I'm going to hit this point here. We're getting 20.01. So I'd say that is good. So that looks like a good reading off of the power supply voltage. And the next, I'm used to seeing DC offset and then bias. This one just has DC bias adjustment. The DC bias adjustment. I know it's blurry, I'm sorry, I had it on, my autofocus was, oh no, autofocus is on. So DC bias adjustment, so I'm going to go from, I'm adjusting RT301 and RT351. So here's 301 and 351. And it looks like I'm negative to this post and then positive to the positive of the speaker out. So for this one, I'm going to, again, I like to use the different multimeters for different reasons. So I'm going to grab my old south wire, which again I've had forever. Put this cap on here. Had this south wire for a long, long time. Had it so long I've lost the back of it. So we're going negative to this test point right there. We're going positive to the positive terminal. Now on these speaker terminals, it's the inner two are negative, and then we have left and right channel positive. So I'm gonna assume blue to me looks like it should be left. So pop that on there. And according to the service manual, I should adjust RT301 and 351 for 75 millivolts. So I'm going to take my adjustment tool. So these are a little low, so I'm turning it clockwise, very, very, very slowly to get it close to 75. And these things are 75. Ooh. It's like you just move it a little tiny bit and it jumps. Back that off just a little bit. Man, does not want to sit. Okay, there is 74.5. I'm going to say that's good for that channel. Now we'll go negative to the other side and then change it to right channel. I'm going to change R351. Okay, we're going to get my big fat hand out of the way and turning counterclockwise on this variable resistor to get it to 75. Okay. Gosh, you just barely move it and it. Come on. So touchy. So this has been running for about 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is get these close and let it run, and then I'll adjust them again and try to get them locked in at 75. But that's probably see if that comes back down. Nope, keeps going up. There's just that one sweet spot that I can't seem to hit on this side. And I'd rather have it be a little low than high. So if I can even get it close to 74, I'll be happy. All right. So I'm going to call that good. All right. I'm going to call that good for now. So I think this is ready to go. Again, I'll let this run. I just saw that drop down, but I'm going to see what it does after 10 or 15 minutes. I'll give it one final adjustment and clean that switch underneath here. And then I think I'm going to call this one good. So you might be thinking, what on earth is he trying to do? Well, this is all candle wax residue, and I'm trying to come up with some cleaner that will remove that. Oh, maybe my finger will. What the heck? Yeah, it's man, why? Just why? It's funny, I see these older pieces of equipment and it's like, what were people thinking? Like, I would think you wouldn't want candle wax to drip down on top of your stereo. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to call this as good as it's going to get, because that stuff is not budging at all. I don't want to use anything too strong on here. I don't want to take any finish off the top, because that would look much worse. And again, this is with kind of harsh lighting, right? If I were to kill these lights, well, still the backlight from that makes it look a lot worse than it actually is. Let's do this. Here's what it looks like. Yeah, still looks kind of crap, but there's like I don't feel anything. So I'm going to work on this and see if I can get it cleaned off any better than that. I might try. There's one last thing I can try, and gosh, I really don't want to try this stuff. I'm going to just use a little tiny bit and see what it does. This is Goo Gone. See if this cuts it any better. Use a little bit of it towards the back here. You know, that actually looks like it is doing the trick. Or it's spreading it around, making two big spots instead of a bunch of little spots. Yeah, Goo Gone work. Gosh, you just never know what you can use and what you can't, because you certainly don't want to damage it anymore than it already might be damaged. Alright, I'm gonna say after this pass that this is done, and I will finish putting this back together and getting it ready to deliver to the shop. Much better. So there you have it, the basic service, power amp adjustment and DC bias adjustment on the Sony TA 4650. If you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.